To Chris Philp, who is the Tory spokesman on, he's the Shadow Home Secretary, effectively, who I think is somewhere near the Channel. Chris, you're on the Channel. Chris Philp. I hope you're not too seasick there, Chris. Good morning.
Good morning, Andrew.
We've been going through this. It looks like within 24 hours already, Chris, this much-vaunted Labour Home Office crackdown on asylum seekers crossing the Channel, it's already unravelling.
It looks like it's unravelling. We said yesterday... Can you hear me? We said yesterday there would be no deterrent effect, and we can see the evidence of that right here. I'm on the Channel, and you can see behind me a French warship escorting an illegal migrant dinghy. We're just inside English waters now, UK waters, and a border force vessel, Typhoon, is about to pick up the illegal immigrants that have come across. It's the second boat we've seen this morning. So it's quite clear the government's announcement yesterday having no effect whatsoever, no deterrent effect, just as we said, and the French are continuing to escort these boats into UK waters.
Chris, we're being told as well that the French will not tell us if some of these people going back and forth, whether they have a criminal record or not. They're going to withhold the information. That's
right. Article 16 of the agreement says that the French will not provide any personal information at all about the people being sent in the other direction. The people, being sent into the UK, so they could have French criminal records, they could be terrorists, and even if the French government know that, they're not going to tell the UK government. Migrants being sent in the other direction, however, to France, the UK government will provide that information. So it's completely asymmetric. We're going to have no idea who these people are that the government are going to be shipping in to the UK. And you know what? It's not even helping us, because as you can see, unfolding behind me, I'm not sure if you can see, there's a migrant dinghy, there's a French warship, and border force Typhoon just over there is coming in to pick up the illegal immigrants. So just as we said, this new deal is having no deterrent effect, because of the people on that dinghy over there, 94% under this new arrangement get to stay in the UK. And if 94% are going to stay in the UK, of course, they're going to try the crossing, which is exactly what they're doing right now.
Now, Chris, we're told this is one in, one out. How often will those numbers be reconciled? How often will the French decide how many to take back compared to how many we've given? Is this going to be added up annually, monthly?
Well, we simply don't know. The document is doesn't have that detail in it. It doesn't even say how many migrants are going to be covered. There's no number in there. So we actually don't know how many will be covered. We've heard it reported it'll be 50 a week, which amounts to 6% of the crossings. So 94% get to stay. But that's not in the agreement. We don't know that for sure. What we do know is that if migrants lodge a so-called suspensive claim, for example, a modern slavery claim, that means they won't get sent back to France. And if they've got a pending human rights claim, then they won't get sent back to France either. So a lot of loopholes here that will stop, even for the tiny numbers the government are talking about, there are loads of loopholes that will stop this deal working in practice.
How could a Tory government, Chris, stop this Royal Naval vessel escorting a dinghy of migrants across the Channel?
Well, so my view firstly is the French should be stopping these boats near French shores. We've seen this morning the French warship over there, you can see it over there, has escorted the migrant vessel into the shipping lane, which is in fact a massive container ship, just had to change course to avoid hitting it. They should have stopped it near the French coast. That would have saved life. The Belgians do that. The Australians have done it. It can be done. But what will stop this happening is if every single one of the illegal immigrants who crosses got removed, either to their country of origin or to a safe third country, then there'd be no point in attempting the crossings in the first place. Now, doing that would require us, at a minimum, to repeal the Human Rights Act in relation to immigration matters, which we would definitely do. And in fact, we've already tabled that in Parliament. It might also need us to come out of the ECHR, and Lord Wolfson is going to report on that in just a few weeks' time. So we would do whatever it takes to ensure that not 6%, but 100% of illegal arrivals get removed. And if the illegal immigrants in Europe know they're going to get removed 100%, they're not going to bother attempting these crossings in the first place.
Chris,
where Hurricane's got to. It's just, I think, that red vessel is the lightship just on the border.
Chris, critics of your position will say that all these details were known several years ago. We knew that it was the potential for human rights claims on an individual basis that was preventing deportations, that would have scuppered the Rwanda Act, sadly. People will say, well, you knew this was going to happen when you were in office. Why didn't you deal with it then?
Well, we did pass the Safety of Rwanda Act, which
yes, but
took a while.
without that suspension of the Human Rights Act.
Well, it did actually, the Safety of Rwanda Act did actually disapply most of the Human Rights Act in relation to the Rwanda scheme. So I think it would have been effective, but we want to go even further now and repeal the entire Human Rights Act in relation to all immigration matters. So the French apparently are now trying to pick up the life jackets from the migrants. I was looking at the migrant dinghy now. Apparently the French are picking up the life jackets from the migrants, presumably so they can give them to some other illegal immigrants back in France. That's happening right in front of me now.
Astonishing.
It is astonishing. Chris, this is a pilot scheme, the government say. It lasts for 11 months. Do you think it's going to last a month?
Well, I mean, to be honest, we don't know much detail. It's got a sunset clause next June, which is before the next summer's season. But to be honest, it's not going to work because for two reasons. Firstly, there are loads of legal loopholes, which I've talked about already. And secondly, it's not going to have a deterrent effect because only 6% of migrants are going to get sent back to France. So the whole thing is not going to work. And the fact that today, the first day the deal is in force on the channel, I've already in the last half an hour seen 2 boatloads of migrants crossing, shows already in real time today, as I'm standing here, that the government's plan is not working already.
All right. Sorry.
So, Chris, supporters of asylum seekers would say that they're taking huge risks across the channel. They must be very desperate, fleeing very difficult circumstances in order to make that crossing. What would be your response to that?
Sorry, say that again, Miriam, I didn't quite hear you.
Apologies, I don't think the line is the clearest. Supporters of asylum seekers would say that people making this crossing are taking their lives into their hands, they're taking enormous risks, they must be very desperate and fleeing a difficult situation in order to take that risk. What would you say to that?
Well, I mean, they're leaving France, right? These people on this boat just over there, a couple hundred metres away from me, this morning left France. They left the Gravelines beach, which is near Dunkirk. France is a safe country. There's no war happening in France. No one's getting persecuted in France. France has a well-functioning asylum system. Not a single person on that boat over there is fleeing war in France. Right, because the trip is completely unnecessary. They were in a safe country already. They probably travelled through Belgium, probably Germany as well, on their way to France. So this trip is totally unnecessary from a humanitarian point of view. Totally unnecessary. They were in a safe country already, France.
Chris Philp, Shadow Home Secretary.
In the middle of the English Channel.
Yeah, Britain's news channel live from the English Channel.
Great to talk to you, Chris, but how embarrassing for the government. I mean, that's quite clever by the Tories, because normally that's the sort of thing Reform do, to get a boat on the channel to see. Well, he's already spotted 2 boats already.
Yeah, incredible. But
and the Royal Navy helping out.
Yeah.
The Royal Navy, which acts increasingly as an Uber service for migrants to cross the channel.
But he's absolutely right. What kind of deterrent is it? There's a tiny, tiny chance that you'll be deported back to France, where you can try again. Yeah. It's not very high risk, is it?
No. Less than 6% are going to be deported. And it seems not even that many, because as Catherine was pointing out, there's all the loopholes. They're going to tie it up in knots.
And also, how are they going to exchange these people? I've got visions of, like in a James Bond movie, where they have a prisoner swap.
Yes, yes.
At arm's length. Anyway, we'll see.
Well, this is what the Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, said yesterday. We will provide regular updates. People will be able to see how many people are being detained, how many people are being returned, and it is right that we should be transparent about that.